Now that we're finally getting more details and insights about the new prequel series called Dune Prophecy, I admit that there are elements that I find myself being quite intrigued by. At the recent New York Comic-Con event, the showrunner Alison Shapker and a few of the cast members gave some insights into their characters and the setting of the series as well. With the logline that the show is going to examine the origins of the Bene Gesserit, there was obviously more information about the storylines and more details about the characters surrounding the Bene Gesserit order, including a character in Travis Fimmell's Desmond Hart who was looking to destroy and to eliminate the Bene Gesserit. So that definitely sounds like an intriguing, dramatic storyline. The Hollywood Reporter did some coverage on the event, and Alison Shapker is quoted saying, "The Sisterhood certainly has a prominent public place, and they have these jobs as truthsayers. They're in the halls of power. They're teaching girls and insinuating themselves into noble families, but they're also pulling strings behind the scenes. That certainly speaks to every time period and highlights some questions we all can be asking of power at any given moment, including today. In the films, they're very much in their full power, and they're making their moves, but they're cloaked in a kind of mystique. One of the great things about this series is we certainly don't want to take away their mystique, but we do go behind their closed doors and kind of see how they operate." All of this definitely speaks true to the lore surrounding the Bene Gesserit, and we've seen footage already from the various trailers. We see the Bene Gesserit acting as these truthsayers. There's one particular scene where there are several politicians among the houses meeting. Each of the representatives has a Bene Gesserit at their side, likely performing that invaluable service of determining truth from lies. One of the most fascinating things about the Bene Gesserit is the way they use their power. They say that they exist to serve the Empire, but secretly they are maneuvering things behind the scenes, insinuating themselves into these positions. They are able to pull the strings of the rich and powerful to suit their own ends. What makes such a powerful organization like the Bene Gesserit so unique is that they demonstrate incredible powers of observation and control to the point where they are able to use the voice. They are able to control others by command. But what's fascinating is that they don't want the full breadth of their abilities known to the Imperium, because if they did, they would definitely be seen as a threat, and this would endanger their agenda for humanity. And the various peoples and positions of power amongst the Imperium are also used by the Bene Gesserit for their genetics and breeding program that will ultimately lead to the Kwisatz Haderach. So we're going to see the early stages of that. We're going to see them try to install a Bene Gesserit on the throne. Apparently this is going to be an early attempt of them seizing direct control. But we're also going to have this wrench in the works for the Bene Gesserit in the character of Desmond Hart, because he apparently sees the threat that the Bene Gesserit hold. As we've seen in the most recent trailer, he's talking with the Emperor Haviko Carino and saying that there is another war being waged behind the scenes, that his troubles exist outside of Arrakis as well with the Bene Gesserit. This is an intriguing storyline for this particular character because he seems to know exactly why the Bene Gesserit are so dangerous, or they are so formidable, because of the power and control that they have that the Imperium at large is unaware of. And this reminds me of the interchange between Lady Jessica and Thufir Hawat, Mentat for House Atreides, in the story of Dune. When Thufir Hawat is investigating the traitor within their midst, he butts heads with Lady Jessica as she is looked upon with suspicion. She becomes aware that Hawat thinks she could be the traitor, and they have this tension-filled conversation. And she comes to the point where she reveals her power of the voice, and it is a very arresting moment for Thufir Hawat when he comes to realize just how powerful the Bene Gesserit are, that they can control somebody by voice command. They wield incredible power. But it's not just the power that they have that's important to them. It's their ultimate agenda for humanity that keeps their power in check, that they wield their powers like a surgical knife instead of a blunt weapon. So this is Emily Watson. She plays Valia Harkonnen, the mature Valia Harkonnen. And she said, what was really delicious to me as an actor about coming into this world was that these women are from a truly, truly recognizably messed up family. They've had an awful childhood and it sort of propelled them away. And nothing in this world is good and bad. Everything is compromised and strange. And yet what Valia Harkonnen set her sights on is really determining the right path for humankind. That's her ambition. To see a Harkonnen Bene Gesserit is intriguing to me, and she's going to have that characteristic ambition. And I guess initially the ambition is to help her family to rise from disgrace, but then it's just full on Bene Gesserit agenda and choosing the path of humanity. I like her comment. I think she's got a good handle on the character, on the universe. And this goes on to describe the trailer a bit here, that the trailer showed Watson as the robed and forbidding head of the Sisterhood, Valia Harkonnen, with ambitions to, in her words, advance our species and govern the future. And there's shots of sweeping alien landscapes, towering temple-like interiors. Her Valia Harkonnen says that now is the time to secure the throne and protect the Imperium. The article continues that Travis Fimmel appears as Desmond Hart, another possible rival to the women who are training a generation of powerful female mystics. The trailer ends with Watson saying, "Riley, I run a school for young women. We're not a threat to anyone." That's what they want to appear as. It's one of the most fascinating elements of Frank Herbert's universe, to see the Bene Gesserit maneuver in the shadows. With the facade of being of service to the Imperium, they are secretly controlling it, with the ultimate goal to control humanity's destiny. So it's going to be interesting to see through the course of Dune Prophecy how the characters of Valia and Tula and the other Bene Gesserit keep their powers hidden as they're making these moves throughout the Imperium. And with the Harkonnen sisters in particular, they also have this dual-sided agenda with elevating their own house from its current disgraced position. So from a Harkonnen perspective, the abilities that they hold might be quite tempting for them to overreach the Bene Gesserit's agenda, to not think about the Sisterhood first, but rather be more self-serving if it means it would benefit their house in the short term. When it comes to Valia Harkonnen, she is described as the Mother Superior in the show. She's going to have this moment where she is just full on supporting the Bene Gesserit, the Sisterhood above all. And no doubt she will have a very significant role in guiding the Sisterhood forward in their agenda to one day control humanity's destiny. So based on all the comments we've gotten so far from the showrunner and the cast, the rough upbringing of the Harkonnen sisters is going to shape their decisions, but no doubt their ancestral memories will also play a massive factor. I'm hopeful to see some very intricate political games happening in this show. When it comes to the Bene Gesserit, their secrecy will need to be secured and maintained. All of their plans for humanity depend on secrecy and depend on their being invaluable to the Empire itself and being in these intimate positions, with the inclusion of a character like Desmond Hart, who seems to be fully aware of the threat that they pose and the influence that they are wielding against the members of the Imperium. They likely will make every effort to keep their plans secret. We've seen in some trailer footage released so far, Valia Harkonnen fighting some of what I presume are Desmond Hart's men. So whatever combat occurs there, I'm assuming that there will be no witnesses to tell of Valia or any of the other Bene Gesserit's abilities. We know ultimately that Desmond Hart's plan to eliminate the Bene Gesserit will fail. We know that the Bene Gesserit don't get eliminated, but I am curious to see what impact Desmond Hart will have on the Bene Gesserit's agenda and the way they go about manipulating the powers that be. But I'm curious to know what you think of these details shown in the marketing for Dune Prophecy. Do you find the premise of this show interesting? And are there certain elements you'd particularly like to see explored more fully? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Dune and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to show your appreciation, you can check out my Patreon page, where members get access to exclusive content and perks. Thank you all so much for your support. And as always, have a very nerdy day.